Hey, what's up, guys? We're just going to take a look at the performance part, number 2, drawing, on how to set it up and complete it in OnShape. So I'm going to bring up the part. Here's our part, post it up on Classroom. Okay, we could take a look. We're going to take a look at the overall dimensions here. We know that the overall width is 6 inches and the overall height is 4 inches. So we're going to start off with a basic rectangular sketch in OnShape of a 6x4 rectangle. So if I go to OnShape, I logged into my account. Remember, you have to log into your account, create an account. Then I'm going to go up to Create button, and I'm going to click Document, which allows to create a new one. Name it Performance Part number 2. I'm going to click OK. It's going to bring up my design area, my work planes, top, front, and right. You can see my isometric glass cube here. If I right click and hold my mouse and drag, I can manipulate the work plane area. All right, and I want to start this drawing on the top work plane. So I can either come out and hover over the top work plane and click on it, or I could come over to the left. This is called my model tree, and I could click and highlight top here. It'll fill in, and I'm going to go up to Create New Sketch button, click it. Our sketch box will come up with the green and red check. We want to keep that open. You can see sketch 1 here, and I'm going to do a right click and do what we call fit or view normal to sketch plane. It brings it up square on the screen as if you were drawing it on a piece of paper. All right, and then I could zoom in and out if you have a mouse with a wheel on it. All right, notice all my tools change to the drawing tool mode as opposed to our 3D model mode in the other view. So I'm going to start off by sketching a center point rectangle, and all of my drawing tools that have a arrow to the right, that means there's a sub menu. So I'm going to click on the center point rectangle, go to the center of the work plane, click, drag, left click to drop it out, and then my dimension boxes will be active. So I want to type in there 6 inches, hit enter. The other one will become active. That's going to be 4. I'm going to hit enter. All right, I'm going to click off the rectangle tool, and I'm going to left click and drag and move my dimension lines a little bit further out of the way. All right, so if I click back, take a look. So we got our overall rectangle. I'm going to start by creating this 1.25 inch round corner. So if I go back, I can take what we call the fillet tool here, select it, and the fillet tool will allow me to round corners off, and I just have to click on opposite edges or lines. So I'll start off with this one, left click, and then if I hold the left mouse button and drag my mouse, I can drag this corner into a rounded corner. All right, so this is giving me the radius. So if I take a look back, the radius is 1.25 inches. So I'm going to come back here. I could put in 1.25, hit enter. All right, we'll take a look back at the drawing. I can sketch this 1-inch diameter circle because once I rounded the corner off, it gives me a center point here to where to sketch that circle. So I'll come up to the circle tool, click on the center point of where we made this radius corner, left click and drag, left click drop, type in my dimension, 1 inch. Unselect the circle tool, I'll drag my dimension line out here so it's not in the way. All right, we'll come back up. We'll take a look at creating this top round, right? And that's 1.5 inch diameter half circle, right? Which if we continue this, it would be a full circle. So I'll come back to my part, and I could take the arc tool here, and I'll do what we call a 3-point arc. And I'll start at the top left corner, left click once. I'll come out, left click, and then drag it until you see that little line with the circle icon. That means it's tangent to the circle and to the edge or line. I'll left click and drop it, and then I'll type in 1.5 All right, 1.5 inches. And then I could come in with my trim tool. I don't need this top edge anymore. It's not part of the drawing. I'll drag my dimension out. And actually, I typed in the wrong info. Gave me the radius. We know the diameter is 1.5 inches. So I got to change that to 3/4. So I can either type in the decimal or put in the fraction, 3/4. And that looks a lot better. All right, then I could come back. I could drop this circle in. A 3/8 of an inch radius. So take my circle tool. And that'll be 0.75 or 3/4 of an inch. All right, click off my circle, drag this out. Okay, then if we take a look back, I'm going to create a construction line here off the center of the circle to determine where the height of this notch comes out. So I can create this feature. So what I could do is, if I click the line tool and click on construction, I could click off the center and drag out and just drop something out there like that. Right click, escape line to close the tool. Okay, so now I know that this edge here going up to this construction line is where this height ends here, then comes over 1 inch. All right, so then I can come back. I could take my scissor or trim tool. I could trim this edge or line. I'll take the line tool, click off this edge. I'll come back, make that 1 inch, and then I'll come up and make that 1/1/16. Okay, now go back to the drawing. I know that from the point of the end of the half circle here, it comes over 7/8 of an inch before it drops and creates this angle. So I could take another construction line. So I'll click the line tool, construction line. I'll drop it somewhere out here. Right click, escape. Okay, then I have to take the dimension tool to dimension this distance. So I could click the dimension tool. I'll click on the point here, left click again on the construction line and drag up. You want to make sure you're on the construction line. So that's going to be 7/8. Okay, then I could take that trim tool again. I can cut that line and then connect the 2 points here to here. Right click, escape. Right, to finish off that angled corner. And then I could just clean up my dimension lines here so nothing's kind of overlapping. I can bring this like this. I may bring this in a little bit. I'll bring this up. Okay. Everything looks good. Let me double check the drawing. I'll come back. Let me dimension this line. I think I'm a little off. So I'm going to take the dimension tool and I'll click and drag out. All right, and then yes, I am off. It should be 2 1/16, not 1. That's why we always got to double check the dimensions. So I'll come back and I'll do 2 1/16. Oh. 2.01875. All right, and that looks a lot better. Take a look back. 7/8 here, comes down, 2, 1. Let me move, unselect the dimension tool. I'll move this one out maybe to here. All right, everything else looks good. I can check out of the sketch. All right, then I can use my right mouse button, hold down. I could spin this drawing to look at it in isometric. And then we can blow this up into 3D just by clicking next to the sketch tool button. I can click extrude. That's where we take a 2D shape and create a 3D model. I'll click that. And then it asks me what areas or surfaces. I'm going to click and hover over until everything on my drawing highlights in yellow orange. I'll click once. And then our depth or our height or thickness of material, we'll make it 0.75 or 3/4 of an inch as if we were doing it on a real piece of material. I'll hit enter. It's going to update. And then I can hit the green check to check out of the sketch. And now if I zoom in, right click and hold, I could spin and manipulate this model and see it in 3D. All right, and that is the performance part number 2 in OnShape. If you have any questions with doing this, feel free to email me or message me, and we can work at it one by one.